All right, guys, in our today's session we are going to be talking about S3 buckets. We are going to be talking about S3 buckets, and we ended last time with the creation of an S3 bucket. We saw what an S3 bucket was. I asked you to do some research about what S3 buckets are, their storage, various storage system. I said we are going to read more of that. There is a lot of literature about S3 buckets in your notes. If we come down to S3 buckets, we actually talked about this literature here. It is literature for you to go and read it. How to manipulate with your S3 buckets, the various prices as respect to S3 buckets, how they are priced. We are not accountants here, we are engineers, so we do not care. Well, they can ask you, how can you maximize costing with respect to S3 bucket? Which storage tiers are you going to use? So we have the various storage tiers. We have S3 standard. We have three different tiers of S3. You will read it and see the different storage tiers. When you go through your notes, you are going to see everything there and their pricing. Try and go through your notes, you see all this. Let us move over to the creation and usage of S3 buckets. As we are going to be creating and using, we'll be explaining several things. All right. Let's move over to our console. So as I did say, S3 is a service. It's a service. You can type here S3 and you will see the S3. It's actually a bucket service. It's a bucket. So it is generally called S3 buckets. So when you type S3, the terminal appears like this. You create your S3 bucket. Then you write your S3 bucket name. Your name for your S3 bucket must be unique. As I said, the name must be unique. If there is any name that is existing that is having your same name, they will refuse that name is already existing. So let me take a name like this one, VCA 645. The region where your S3 bucket is created, it doesn't matter, because S3 is it is a global service. S3 is a global service. That means when you are in S3, you are in all the regions. Okay. Always enable ACL, access control list. That's the meaning of ACL. Always enable it. Very, very important. Now when you come here, you discover that your bucket is by default marked as private. Block all public access. So if I click here, then I'm opening all the public access. If I click here, then I'm blocking all the public access, right? So let us unblock all the public access. Then we come down and we create our bucket. There is something we have not yet done. We acknowledge the fact that we are giving public access. Then we create our bucket. So our bucket now created. Here is our bucket. It is created. Now we have a bucket. Look at this. We have a bucket that is created. A bucket of this nature. We have a bucket that is created like this. This is our bucket created, right? Now with this bucket created, what are we going to do? We are going to put objects inside the bucket, right? We're going to put objects inside the bucket. Now when we put objects inside the bucket, somebody who is sitting here can access the bucket directly from the internet, right? Can access the bucket directly from the internet, from anywhere. Somebody who is sitting here with his laptop can access the bucket directly. This object that we are going to put here, we are going to put an object here. Somebody can access the object directly from the internet. Okay, now let us see how somebody should what is this guy in need of to access an object that we have put in the bucket. So let us upload an object in the bucket. We upload an object in the bucket. We click on the bucket, and then we go to upload. I can say add files. Just go to, just look any file in a picture in my desktop. Unfortunately, I don't have so many good pictures. Okay, let's just take this picture of this lady. I don't know who she is. Okay. This is the picture that we are uploading. Now remember that when we upload a picture, we have two things. Let us just upload this picture like this. Now the picture is uploaded. Okay, if you want to see the picture, you click. If somebody wants to see the picture, when you click on the picture, if you send this object URL, when you click on the picture, you open and there will be an object URL. If you send this object URL to anybody, the person can access this picture. The person should be able to access this picture, right? Now, but when I take the URL and click here, I am not able to access the picture. Why am I not able to access this picture? Why will I not be able to access this picture? The reason is because I have given access to my bucket level, but I have not given access to my object level. This bucket, this bucket like this, I have granted access to somebody to enter the bucket, but I have not granted access for somebody to see this object. You can only enter the bucket, but you cannot see this particular object. Okay, now if I want you to enter the bucket and see this object, I am going to now open the possibility for you to see the object. Look at what I'm going to do. And now I am inside the object. Let me first go up and come out from the bucket. We are out of the bucket right now, right? This is the object that we want to have access to. I click on the object, right? Then I go to permissions. I click on permissions. I come down under permissions. Excuse me, please. Okay, I click on permissions. I come down. You see access control list, right? Access control list. When you look at this access control list, you see object. It has a read object, a read permission and a read write permission, but you see that there is no read nor read write, no read nor read write. Okay, this means you are giving somebody the permission to see the object. This means you are giving somebody the permission to see and change that is giving him the read and write permissions to actually see the objects and change it. So let me edit now my ACL, access control list. I come now here and I come to everyone public access. I want people to be able to see the object. You see now I say people should be able to read the object. When I give now that read access to everybody at the level of the object, I give read access. Then I come down now, I say I understand what I am doing. I come down and I say save changes, right? When I say save changes now, when I come now at the level of my URL, I just refresh. You see the object comes live. Okay, the object comes live. Now what I'm trying to present here is that there are two possibilities of bringing your objects live, securing your object. The first one is you give security at the bucket level and then you give security at the object level. Now why is it this way? It is so because there is possibility for you to have 2 or 3 different types of object like this, right? So you can give security at the level of let public people access this bucket, have access to this object and this object, but not this object, right? You can enter into this bucket, you can see this object, but you should not be able to see this object. That is the reason why this permission is granted at 2 levels, granted at the level of the bucket and at the level of objects. Now what if I refuse permission at the level of the bucket and open permission at the level of the object? What do you think will happen? If I refuse permission at the level of the bucket but open the permission at the level of the object, what will happen? I will not see the object because the bucket is the main first fence. If I cannot enter the bucket, I will not be able to see the object. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Right now we are able to enter the object, the bucket, and enter the object. But if I go now to my bucket, this is my bucket. If I go now to my bucket and I click on my bucket and I come to permissions at the level of my bucket, right? I come to permissions, I come to edit the permissions, then I come now and say block all access to bucket, right? And I say save changes. They'll ask me if I want to confirm. Yes, I want to confirm. Okay, I click on confirm. Now if I come here, will I be able to see my object again? Let me refresh. I am unable to see my object again. Why am I unable to see my object again? I'm unable to see my object because I have blocked access at the level of bucket, even though my object is having access to the public, but bucket is blocking that access. Okay, that is that for objects and buckets with respect to their permissions. All right, next we want to look at is a let's see where we are standing. We have talked about creation of bucket. You have seen how you can create a bucket. We have uploaded objects in the bucket. We have protected the objects from the bucket, that is granting permission to bucket at the level of the bucket and at the level of the object. Let us see how it can work when you have 2 objects in the bucket, with one having permissions granted and the other which does not have permissions granted. Okay, let us go to our S3 bucket and then we upload another object. Let us upload another object. Can we upload an object? Question. Can we upload an object while we have blocked access to the bucket? No. Can we upload an object while we have blocked access to the bucket? No. Let me show you what I'm trying to talk about. Look up here. When we have, presently the bucket is blocked. Presently this bucket is blocked. So let me try to upload an object to the bucket. Let me try to upload my picture. I come down. For simplicity, let me just click upload. Let's see if bucket was uploaded. Okay, my bucket was uploaded, my object was uploaded, please. And let's see about if we can have access to my object. We are unable to have access to it. We are unable to have access to my object, right? Okay, now we have two objects. We have two objects in our bucket. There are two objects in our bucket. Let us go to permissions here. Now let us come back to our buckets. We come to our buckets, and then we see that we have two objects here, but at our level of the bucket we have stop permission. So let's grant permission to our bucket. We are trying to grant permission to our bucket. Okay, right now this object can be seen. This one, can it be seen or not? It cannot be seen, right? One object can be seen, the other object cannot be seen. This is what we are saying. We can be able to control access to objects from at the object level. We have two objects in our bucket. One can be seen, one cannot be seen. Why is it like that? Because one is given the permission to be seen, the other is not given the permission to be seen. Let's just swap. Let's swap the two of them. Let's swap the two objects and see what is going to happen. For this one, for the new one that we have just uploaded, let us give it the public permission view. The new object that has just been uploaded is this one. Yes, let us give it permissions, and then we come to edit. Then we come to read permission, and then save changes. I must agree, then I save changes. Now the second object that we uploaded, we are certain that it can be seen now. It is now clear. The first object is clear now. Let us put this one not to be seen and this one to be able to be seen. So you can swap. You can do anything at the level of your object, you see. So S3 is just actually a means of helping you keep unstructured data. In an interview, they might ask you, what is the meaning of structured and unstructured data? Unstructured data is just anything. Photos, you put. Pictures, you put. Files, you put. Anything. Folders, you just carry everything and load inside a bucket. That is unstructured data. But structured data is only data that is being fed at the level of a database. A structured data is data that is fed at the level of a database. And how is it structured? It is structured into rows and columns. There are particular rows and particular columns. Data that can be manipulated upon. Data that can be sorted out. Data that can be ranged. Data that can be classified. That is data that we call structured data. But data that you cannot classify, you cannot arrange, you cannot query that data, we call it unstructured data. Pictures, music, all those type of things fall under unstructured data. Okay, so we are at the level of permissions. We have understood how you can grant permissions to our objects, right? Now there is one thing we want to do. The last thing that we'll need to do for today to understand our buckets very well is versioning. If they ever ask you somewhere that what is versioning, right up to this level, is there any problem? Is there any issue?
None, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, great. Now, if they ever ask you anywhere what is versioning, okay, if they ask you what is versioning, you understand that versioning is the aspect of controlling the frequency or the different types of code or content that is available in any environment. Okay, sometimes you say that let me go somewhere and come back, you see a different version of me. In IT, we call versioning, we call advanced version and primitive versions. We have advanced version and primitive version. When a software is released, you always have a version 1.0. After some time you have a version 1.1. After some time you have a version 1.2. So higher versions are always better than lower version. But at one particular moment they can bring a higher version, that higher version is going to come and instead crash the whole code, right? With the help of versioning and with the help of what we saw at the level of Git, you can roll back. When they make a new version and it does not work the way they wanted it to work, you can roll back to the previous version. So S3 has the capacity of versioning. Okay, you can carry out versioning in S3. We are going to see how you can carry out versioning in S3 and how that versioning is important for you to perform. So let us go to S3 and we upload an object. We are going to upload an object. We are at the level of the bucket. Let us upload an object. Let us upload this simple text folder. That's a text folder that we have uploaded. We grant permission for the text file. Give permission to be public. Cool. So this is our object that we have just uploaded. We copy the URL of the object and then we paste. The object is public. We have pasted the object, right? Welcome to AWS Solution Architect. We are happy to have you. Okay, you see we can access that object directly from online. It's possible for us to access the object directly from online. Okay, now since we can access the object directly from online, what is the next thing that we can do? Let us now, instead of writing welcome to AWS, we are happy to have you, we say no, we do not want to write we are happy to have you. We say please make yourself comfortable. Make yourself comfortable. Now, what have we done? We have changed the original information that was in our text, right? And we have saved it. When we save it, we need to upload it again. Okay, we have saved the information in our machine, but the object is not yet inside the S3 bucket. So we need to upload the new version in the S3 bucket. How will S3 know that this is an object that is coming that I already have a version 1? How will it know? It won't. It will not know. You need to enable the versioning of objects before you upload. So let us come here. If you upload without enabling the versioning, you are in trouble. Nothing is going to happen. You click on the bucket, right? Open it. And you come down to versioning. You can create while creating the bucket itself. You can give possibility for versioning. While creating the object, you can give the possibility for versioning. So when you open your object, you come to versioning. Look at, there is nothing here like a version or whatsoever. You come to versioning, click on versions, and then you enable bucket versioning. Enable bucket versioning. When you go to click enable bucket versioning, now your bucket versioning is enabled. So you always go to the object itself before you see bucket versioning, right? Now when you see bucket versioning, you come back now to your bucket. You will see now this show versions here will come out. At the beginning we did not have these show versions. Now it is there, which means that what? Which means that you have enabled versioning, and it is asking you to show the various versions of the objects that you have. You click show versions. You see that there is no version ID here, right? There's no version ID here. So we have enabled versioning. Now let us upload an object because we have enabled versioning. How will this know that there is already an object and it needs to create a new version of that object? The name of the objects must be the same. So if we are uploading an object and the object is coming with the same name that is here, the system will understand that since this name is already here, that means it is a new version of this name. Okay, but in our own, we have already changed what we have changed there. So we make sure we know what is in our object. What is in our object again? In our object we have, this is our object URL. No, not this one. I think we have this is the one we are talking about. This is our object URL. Okay, we have welcome to AWS Solution Architect. We are happy to have you, right? That is what we are having now. We are happy to have you, right? Now we have changed it. We have already changed it now in our machine to please make yourself comfortable. How shall we have it in our S3 bucket that please make yourself comfortable here? Now when we come to our S3 bucket, all we need to do is we upload the new version of what we have changed. Okay, we upload the new version of what we have changed. So let's go to upload, add files, bucket content, come down to permissions, grant public access, say you understand what is going ahead, and then you upload. Now when you finish uploading, what do? You refresh. Now we have welcome to AWS Solution Architect, please make yourself comfortable. Now it changed from you are welcome to please make yourself comfortable. That means this is a new version now that is there. Now when the new version comes in, yeah, we have a new version now in. So when the new version comes in, we want to see all the versions that are there. Show us the versions that are there. You discover that there is an L here. There's something like a small L here. You see, this is a version that is having please make yourself comfortable. This is a version that is having you are welcome. But which version is being presented at the bucket URL? It is this one that is being presented at the bucket URL. Okay, this is a version that is being presented at the bucket URL. So when you put the bucket URL in your browser, you are going to see the content of this one. You will not see the content of this one. If you want to see the content of this one, its URL is here, and when you put its URL, you will see its own content. We are happy to have you. We are happy to have you. But if you want to see the content of the other bucket, want to see the content of the most recent bucket, which is this one, you take it, upload, you will see its own content, which says please make yourself comfortable. That means we have one and the same bucket, but it is having two versions. That bucket is having two versions, version 1 and version 2, right? So you can always roll back to the previous version whenever you want. How do you do that? If you just come here, you can delete. It's possible for you to delete the content of this bucket. Let's show content. Let's show versions. It's possible for you to delete this one or this one. There are two forms of deleting. There is permanent delete, and when you use permanent delete, you are not going to be able to retrieve that bucket anymore. You cannot retrieve the bucket anymore. Permanent delete deletes the bucket permanently. It doesn't delete the bucket in such a way that you can still see it. No, it deletes the bucket permanently, right? Then there is simple delete. So we have what we call, we have two types of delete. The first one is delete, normal delete, and then the second one is permanent delete. So for normal delete, you can retrieve the object again. When you delete normally, you can retrieve the object again. But when you delete when you delete permanently, you are unable to retrieve the object. No matter what you do, that object cannot be retrieved anymore. Okay, so we have these two forms of delete. So let us see how they function. When you want to delete in such a way that you can recover, you need to put off versioning. You put off versioning. When you put off versioning, then you click on your object that you want to delete, and then you go to delete. And then when you come to delete, you see what they will tell you. They'll say, to confirm deletion, type delete in the text input field. So when you type delete in this text input field, then the object will be deleted, but you can still recall it back. Let us delete this object and see how to recall it back. I type delete, I delete it. The object is gone. Okay, it is totally gone. All right, now that the object is gone, how should I recover the object? The object, you don't want to see the object here. How should I recover the object? Come to versioning and click on versions. When you come to versioning and click on version, you will see a delete marker. A delete marker will be on an object. That is to show that this object has been deleted, but you can recover it. How do you recover this object? What is the way of recovering this object after you have deleted it? Just click on the object and delete. You are deleting now, but this delete marker, don't get confused. The thing you are deleting now is the delete marker, not the object. So you are deleting the delete marker. When you delete the delete marker, the object will be now available. So you click on the bucket content, and to delete this delete marker, you come here, click on delete, and you come down here, you type permanent delete. It will delete the delete marker. Okay, when it deletes now the delete marker, what you do is you go back to your, you will see your bucket is there. You get it? You see your bucket is there. You can now still have access to your bucket. Now the second form of delete is permanent delete. For this one, there is no way by which you can call back the object. No way. So if I come here and I say, okay, I want this object to be deleted permanently, I show versions. Version is activated. When I show version is activated, I go to delete. You see the option that they will give me is permanent delete. Permanent delete. And if they give me permanent delete and I take the permanent delete, I say delete, the object is gone. At this level, there is no way in which I can ever see this object again. There is no way. That object is gone. It's deleted permanently. Okay, so what we'll have now is the old version of what we had, right? What we'll have now is the old version of what we had. So if I enter here, you discover that this one is the old version of what we had. I've deleted the updated version of what we uploaded. This one now is the old version. You see, we are happy to have you. Our most updated version was please make yourself comfortable, but this one now is we are happy to have you. So I have deleted it, and you can no more get to see it. All right, that is all about S3 permissions and versioning. As I said, with respect to DevOps, there is a lot of information or a lot of questions that are centered around this very topic that we have just done now. How to control access into S3. S3 is the center of security in AWS. S3 is the center of security, which means that when they will ask you in an interview question, can you define me or can you describe to me the various modalities that you assure security in an S3 environment, in the AWS environment, you must talk about S3. There is no way by which you can talk without talking about S3. I mean, when we come to Kubernetes, there is a topic where we have to store our secret objects in S3 buckets. Okay, and you can also deploy your application in S3 bucket and secure it. So how do you guarantee security at the level of S3 bucket? You are going to explain all these various things, and we will come to another one important level of security, which we call encryption. We can be able to keep objects inside an S3, encrypt the objects. We keep the object inside an S3, we encrypt the object first of all, and then we block the object from having access to public contact, and block the bucket to have access to the object. That means you secure the object at the level of bucket, at the level of object, and then you still encrypt the object. That means if somebody by some magical way crack into the bucket, he will see that the object is blocked. If you magically crack into the object, you will still see that the object is encrypted. So you need to be some sort of a magical IT specialist to be able to ever crack into an S3 AWS S3 bucket. That is the maximum level of security. And when you do like this again, you might see you do like this, and then you take your S3 bucket and you put again inside another private subnet, in another boundary again, in another environment called a private subnet, where internet from the public environment does not have access to that environment. There, I don't think that anybody can ever be able to reach where your bucket is in order to crack your bucket. So when we talk about security in the cloud, everything is about the S3 bucket. Okay? Any question?
So it is well understood.
Okay.
It's well explained.
Great.
But the only question I have is on how to delete repositories on GitHub. I wanted to delete the old repository that I have because it was all about repetition. So I wanted to delete some. But actually, I saw the option to delete, but it was not deleting.
Okay. All right, let me just show you the option here to delete a repository. If you want to delete a repository in GitHub, this is a repository that I have in my GitHub account. Let's take a repository like, let's take this one. Let me take this repository. You come to where is my settings? Am I not signed in? Okay, you come to your repository. You will see these settings here, right? You come to these settings, you pick the settings, you go right down, you see delete repository. Then you click on delete repository, read everything that they tell you. Delete this repository, right? They tell you that you should delete this repository. Copy this, and then say yes, you want to delete that repository. They'll say if you delete this repository, unexpected things will happen, bad things can happen, because they are really warning you. Repository is something that is controlled, or that controls a particular code. Is a source environment for source code, so they will always tell you that you should be careful, right? If you say no, you really want to delete it, I have read and understand these effects, I want to delete, then they'll tell you to type, to confirm, type this in the box. If you read all this, you will delete, there will be no problem for you, right? Type this in the box. Now when I type it, I'm supposed to remove delete. Now delete repository is highlighted. I delete now the repository. The repository is deleted, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes, so that's how to delete repository. You can do like that and you will
Yes,
delete
thank
your
you, sir.
repository. All right, see you guys tomorrow, God willing. All right, bye bye.